This is Rick Burke for the New York Times. As the investigation continues into the bombings in Boston, officials are relying much more on social media. Years ago, there might have been a single video clip from a surveillance camera, but now investigators can gather thousands of hours of smartphone footage.
We see social media being used by law enforcement in all different capacities, and certainly each year we see an exponential growth in how law enforcement is using social media and the cases that they're applying social media to. For example, IECP does an annual social media survey of how law enforcement agencies are using social media, and back in 2011, about 40% of agencies were soliciting tips from the public. Fast forward to 2012, it was nearly 60% of agencies.
In Boston, investigators are making repeated requests for video and photographic submissions, hoping for clues.
The last thing I want to say is there has to be hundreds, if not thousands, of photographs or videos or observations that were made down at that finish line yesterday. And they're sitting out there amongst everyone that's watching this event this morning. And I would encourage you to bring forward anything. You might not think it's significant, but it might have some value to this investigation.
David, your company works both with private clients and law enforcement clients in mining digital data for investigations for security reasons. In something like the Boston bombings, what's the first thing the experts do in looking at the data?
In the social media space, particularly, they're going to be looking first off at the different ways they can search social media. They can search the social media streams, if you will, on a geographic basis or with keywords across all the Twitter sphere or by individuals.
Can you paint us the scene of what you think may be going on with the digital evidence from Boston? Are there people just sitting there looking very closely at frame by frame of the final leg of that race?
I imagine individuals are certainly looking at it frame by frame very carefully, but also, especially in the time immediately after the event, there is a collection phase that needs to occur. So there will be individuals doing frame by frame searches, screen captures of items of interest and trying to organize them. There will be other individuals trying to collect and preserve data before it becomes more difficult to actually collect down the road. And candidly, the social media investigative capabilities have come an extremely long way in the last year, but it's relatively immature when compared to things like computer forensics.
Is it your sense that this case could be cracked somewhere on digital space?
Well, I'm relatively confident that law enforcement will be using social media for conducting a piece of their investigation. LexisNexis did a survey probably several months ago, where they surveyed 1,200 individuals in law enforcement, professional investigators. 87% of them said to one degree or another they were using social media tools for investigations. And 2/3 of those felt that it absolutely sped up the investigations because it's a very effective tool for finding connections between individuals and times, et cetera. It's a great tool. It's almost like a diary that's online.